So this video is going to be all about standard form, powers of 10. So let's just have a look at some of the powers of 10. So we have here 10 to the power of 1, what is obviously just 10. 10 to the power of 2, or 10 squared, is equal to 100, because that's 10 times 10. 10 to the power of 3 is 1,000. 10 times 10 times 10. And 10 to the power of 4 is 10,000. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. So what we notice here is a little pattern. The power after a 10 seems to refer to the number of zeros in the number. So 10 to the 1 has 1 0, 10 squared has 2 zeros, 10 cubed has 3 zeros, and 10 to the 4 has 4 zeros, and so on, and this continues forever. So the power is simply counting the number of zeros in the number. Now let's have a look at some negative powers. 10 to the minus 1, well, if you watched the last video on indices, you'll know that this just puts a 1 over. So this is 1 over 10 to the power of 1, which is 1 over 10. And that's equal to 0.1. 10 to the minus 2 is 1 over 10 squared, which is 1 over 100, which is 0.01. 10 to the minus 3 is 1 over 1,000, which is 0.001. So you have the same pattern here, where with a 10, the power is counting the number of zeros, but when there's a minus sign, there's a decimal. So, standard form. We say that a number is in standard form when it is in the form a times 10 to the power of n, where a is a number between 1 and 10. So, let's do an example. What is the value of 3 times 10 to the 4? So the first thing to note is that this number is in standard form, because it's in the form a times 10 to the n, 3 times 10 to the 4, and a, which is 3 in this case, is a number between 1 and 10. So this number is in standard form, and how would we work this out? Well, there's a few ways, but quite an easy way. If we just look back up here, 10 to the 4 is equal to 10,000, so we can rewrite this as 3 times 10,000. Well, 3 times 10,000 is just simply 30,000. Let's have a look at another example. 4.2 times 10 to the 6. Well, using our same logic, this is just equal to 4.2 multiplied by a million. 6 zeros, right? Because what we know, the 10 to the 6 just means a 1 with 6 zeros. And this is just equal to 4.2 million, right? 4.2 times a million, 4.2 million. So 8.1 times 10 to the minus 3. Well, again, we can use the same thing. The minus means there's a decimal point, but the 3 still means there's 3 zeros. So what we get is this is equal to 8.1 multiplied by 0.00. There's the 3 zeros. The minus is the decimal, 1. 8.1 times this is simply equal to 0.0081. Right, another example. Write 23,000 in standard form. Well, let's just remember that it has to be in the form a times 10 to the n, and a has to be between 1 and 10. How can we extract a number here that's between 1 and 10? The number that you take here is not 0.23, because that's not between 1 and 10. It wouldn't be 23, because that's not between 1 and 10. So what you do, 2.3 times 10 to something. If we're trying to work out what power we take the 10 to, all we do is we count. So the decimal, we've put the decimal between the 2 and the 3. We count how many times that needs to move. So times 10 to the 1 moves it 1 place. Times 10 to the 2 moves it 2 places. 10 to the 3 moves it 3 places. And 10 to the 4 moves it 4 places. And that moves it to the number we want. So we just stick a 4 on the end. Right, we're writing 0.00289 in standard form. So the exact same thing here, we're finding a number between 1 and 10 that can sort of represent this part of the number. So for example, you wouldn't put 289, you wouldn't put 28.9, you'd put 2.89 times 10. And now when we're thinking about what power we're going to take that to, we just do the exact same thing. So we've put the decimal here. How many places have we put it back this time? We put it back 1, 2, 3. And because we're going backwards this time, because it's a decimal, that's where we have the minus coming from. So in this example, we counted forward, hence the positive. And in this example, we're counting backwards. So this is minus 1, 2, 3 places. And all these are saying is that this is exactly equal to this, just written in standard form. So in our last example of this video, we're calculating 3 times 10 to the power of 3 multiplied by 5 times 10 to the 5. So what we do is 3 times 10 to the 3 times 5 times 10 to the 5. Well, what this is we can say that 3 times 5 is 15. So this is 15 times 10 to the 3 times 10 to the 5. From the indices video, when you're multiplying two numbers together raised to different powers, you add the powers. So this is equal to 15 times 10 to the 5 plus 3, which is 8. Now, if we were asked to leave this number in standard form, this wouldn't be in standard form. Although it looks like it, the first number here has to be between 1 and 10. And 15 is not between 1 and 10. So all we need to do here is write 15 in standard form. 15 is equal to, how do we write this in standard form? Well, number between 1 and 10 that relates, quite clearly 1.5, times 10. Well, how many places are we moving the decimal? Well, just once, right? 1.5 times 10 to the 1. So, knowing this, we can now put in here that 15 times 10 to the 8 is equal to 1.5 times 10 to the 1 times 10 to the 8. And once again, just as we did before, we're multiplying 10 raised to two different powers, so we add the powers together. So this is equal to 1.5 times 10 to the 1 plus 8, which is 9. And that's the final answer. Thank you for watching.